going on? It's Green Thumb. We're in my kitchen. You guys are going to see a whole lot more videos in my kitchen because we are starting to harvest. You know what we're harvesting yesterday? Broccoli. I'm actually truly surprised with the heat we've had this year that I ended up actually harvesting broccoli. Now, saying that, beside the camera down there, whenever I'm working in my kitchen, I always have a 5-gallon bucket on the ground. Okay, and I put all the kitchen scraps I'm working with into the 5-gallon bucket. I run it in my compost. I have a 5-gallon bucket on the ground right now that's about a third full with waste out of all the broccoli. There was some worms that got in there, kind of made it gross, so we had to cut out all the bad spots. So we ended up with 12 cups of broccoli. I've already cut it up into little florets after I gave it a good wash in the sink. So we're doing broccoli cheddar soup from scratch. I will leave the recipe below in the description, so if you guys want to actually copy the recipe from the actual website, you'll have access to it. And I'm also going to be probably tripling the recipe for what it calls for. If memory serves, and I just glanced through it quickly, I think we needed 4 cups of broccoli. We got 12, so that means we're going to triple the recipe. So let's get started. So to start, we're going to need a large onion, finely diced. We're going to need 3 tablespoons of butter. That looks like 3, right? What do you say? So we're going to take our 3 tablespoons of butter. We're going to throw it in a pan, actually in a big pot. And we're going to start the process. Butter's in the pot. I'm going to throw the onions in the pot. This big pot right here. Whoop, oh, not tall enough. There we go. Butter in the pot. And we're just going to wilt these down a little bit. Oh, you can't even see it in there. Sorry. There. We're just going to wilt these down 3-4 minutes. And in the process, you're going to want to you're going to crush 3 cloves of garlic. The onions are just starting to brown. We want to add in 3 large cloves of garlic. We're only going to cook that for about 30 seconds or so. and then we're gonna take it off the heat. So now we're gonna take this garlic and onion mixture off the stove, and we're gonna get ready to start making a roux in this pan with butter and flour. Now into this pot, we need 12 tablespoons of butter and 3/4 of a cup of flour. You like my measurement? That's how we're doing it. We're just gonna literally just cut chunks. I generally use recipes as a guide, not as Bible. You know what? We're gonna put a little more butter in. There. More butter. So we're going to melt that down, then we're going to get the flour in. So we're just going to thicken this up a little bit. And then we are going to pour in chicken stock. We need 6 cups of chicken stock. So one of these, okay, is 4 cups. So I'm just gonna pour that in. I've already just dumped it in a measuring cup and cracked the other one. We've got 4 cups in, adding the other 2 now. We need 6 cups of cream. And we're going to put in a little extra for good measure. Now we're going to simmer this for about 20 minutes. And you're going to want to stir in. Apparently there's a scum that's, or a layer that's going to build up on the top. We just stir it back in. So we're going to give it, I'll be back in about 15-20 minutes. What we're basically looking for is for this cream and chicken stock to heat up, incorporate with the flour, and start to thicken up. That's what we're looking for. All right, look at that. Starting to thicken up, okay. That's what we're looking for. Now, what we're gonna do is you need 6 carrots cut into thin coins, 1/8 of an inch or so. We're gonna add that in, and all of our broccoli. Okay, we got that. And now we are going to take our garlic and onion mixture, add that back in too, and make sure you get every little bit out of here because this is Flavor Town right here. And give it a stir. Oh, that's starting to look pretty damn good. Okay, now we're adding seasonings. So it calls for dry mustard, but I don't have dry mustard. But I have hot mustard, and I didn't have a whole lot left in the jar, so I added some cream to it so I could just get the rest of the mustard out. Right. And then we need 2 1/4 teaspoons of salt. So 1 teaspoon is 5 milligrams, 5 milliliters, whatever you want to call it. So we're just basically going to measure with a teaspoon. Like that. There we go. Call that salted. Next we need 1.5 teaspoons of paprika. And I'm going to use my homemade applewood smoked paprika that I grew and made myself. So this stuff is really strong tasting. So we're going to dial it back a little bit, or it's just going to be overpowering. We're going to add cayenne pepper to taste, but I'm going to pour it into the measuring cup so at least I have a rough idea of how much I'm putting in here. Because my kids are going to eat this, and if it's spicy, well, they ain't going to eat it. So we're going to go with a little less than 1 teaspoon. Black pepper to taste. We're going to go with about that much, about 2 tablespoons. And all we're going to do now is we're going to stir this in, and we're going to simmer this for another 15-20 minutes. And in the meantime, we are going to grate 24 ounces of cheddar. Don't use the cheap stuff. Use something with some flavor to it, because if you use the cheap stuff, it's not going to be nearly as good. I mean, we are making broccoli cheddar soup here, right? So use a strong tasting cheddar, and don't use that pre-shredded garbage in the bag. For one thing, the cheese that comes pre-grated has cellulose in it. So unless you want to be eating sawdust, don't eat that stuff. And secondly, if you look on the ingredients, there's actually a industrial grade prescription strength medication that they mix into that cheese too. Don't believe me? Look on the bag. It's called natamycin, I think it's called. It's usually the last ingredient on the bag. And you can only get it with a prescription. So they're putting medication trash right into your food. So we're just going to let that sit another 15 minutes or so to simmer. And I'm going to start grating cheese. All right, so here's the cheese. We used a full brick of cheese. So now we just basically just incorporate the cheese. And once you get the cheese in and melted, take this off the heat and it's ready to serve. Like that. Gonna give this a good old stir. Alright. So basically all we're trying to do here is melt up that cheese. Oh, this looks good. Look at that. Guess what I'm having for supper? Broccoli cheddar soup. All right, so now we're done. I'm going to take this off the heat, like that. And when you serve this, shred some cheese, sprinkle some cheese on the top, and you're good to go. That's all she wrote, guys. So I am going to pour myself a big bowl of that beautiful, tasty soup, and that's it. And so basically anything that's left, I'm going to portion in, where are they? Hang on a minute. Just looking. Anything left, I'm going to portion in large freezer Ziploc bags. I don't think there'll be a whole lot left after I feed 4 people, but anything that's left, I'm just going to put right into one of those large Ziploc bags, lay it flat in my deep freezer, and I'm just going to freeze it solid, and I'll have enough soup for another meal for another day. And now I'm going to start new broccoli seedlings for a fall crop of broccoli, and I'm probably going to do 3 times to 4 times as much broccoli, because essentially that big old monster pot right there, I want about 3 times that much soup to put away to store for the winter. So I need the broccoli to do so. There'll be less pest pressure in the fall, so I should have a much better harvest. So hope you guys like the video. It's my first time making this soup, but it smells super good in here. So if you found this helpful, you should really subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be teaching you how to store and process all the stuff that you're going to harvest out of your garden so you can store it for the whole winter. All right? Give me a big thumbs up, and leave me a comment. Tell me if you guys like this kind of soup. Okay? Have an awesome day. Grow good food. See you on the next one.